This is the story of the 93-year-old girl on the tram who climbed out of the window of a Moldovan Detective Agency whilst dandruff fishing in Papua New Guinea with a tattoo, also known as the girl. Our story starts when the girl rang her friend, poor Lamb, who was busy seeing his imaginary psychologist.
You know that song, The Dreams in Which I'm Dying Are the Best I've Ever Had? Well, that's kind of how I've been feeling. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to take this call. The girl. How are you?
The girl explained her predicament, so our story didn't actually begin here. It began here. That's Boy she's sleeping with. They didn't know each other until last night. Now it's a bit awkward. Of course, our story didn't begin here at all. It began earlier, when Boy was called by his friend, the Eager Beaver. The Eager Beaver was a mutual friend between Boy and the girl, but more friends with Boy. Boy had gone to a bar with the Eager Beaver and her colleagues. The girl was one of them.
You broke the rule? We only have one rule.
The girl and poor Lamb had only one rule. That rule was, don't share a bed with anyone. Ever. The rule used to be, don't share a bed with anyone crazier than yourself. But poor Lamb's imaginary psychologist pointed out that poor Lamb was crazier than most.
So what's he like?
Poor Lamb asked the girl, and she explained quite candidly.
You two would make a good couple.
Poor Lamb told the girl, who disagreed.
You never can say what your friends do.
The girl hated when poor Lamb was right, so she changed the subject and asked poor Lamb how his love life was going. Unfortunately, he had just been cheated on by his imaginary girlfriend and spent his days mostly involved in angry fantasies about her.
You did what?
The Eager Beaver was pleased to hear that Boy and the girl had ended up together.
You two would make a good couple.
But Boy didn't think so. He was busy making cartoons about people who act more like animals and fall for each other. He had shown the girl before she left his apartment that morning, and she asked him to promise not to make a cartoon about her. He promised he wouldn't. Then he made one anyway. He didn't normally break his promises, but she had made him break the one rule last night.
You broke the one rule?
The Eager Beaver was not pleased to hear this.
Wait, when did I eat sweet corn?
The Eager Beaver and Boy had only one rule. That rule was, don't share a bed with anyone, ever. The rule used to be, don't share a bed with anyone you are scared of. But the Eager Beaver pointed out that Boy was scared of girls, hence why he never had a girlfriend, drew stupid cartoons, and never shared a bed.
Sorry, I have to go. They just announced that my flight will leave in an hour. I'd better go get in the queue. Some other people already did.
The Eager Beaver left Boy to his thoughts. Boy sent the girl a message, just to be polite. He didn't really want to see her again, but he sort of did. The girl replied to Boy's message, just to be polite. She didn't really want to see him again, but she sort of did. Then they broke the rules. Confused, the girl rang poor Lamb. But he had started a relationship with his imaginary psychologist, and they had gone on to the Seychelles together. She would have to sort this one out on her own. Confused, Boy rang the Eager Beaver, but she had been arrested for air rage after a lamb and pumpkin diverted the flight she had been on. To the Seychelles, he would have to sort this out on his own. The girl sent Boy a message to tell him it was over. She wanted to see him again, so thought it was best that they ended things. Boy sent the girl a message to agree it was over. He wanted to see her again, so he thought it was best that they ended things. The girl sent Boy a message. She was annoyed that he agreed it was over. She wanted to know why he hadn't made a cartoon about her. Boy sent the girl a message. He had lied and had made a cartoon. Would she like to see it? The girl went to Boy's apartment and shouted at him for breaking his promise. Then they broke the rules. The girl normally snuck out of Boy's house when they were finished, but this morning she had overslept and woke up to find he had made her breakfast. It was awkward. The girl normally snuck out of Boy's house when they were finished. He woke up to find her still asleep and unsure what he was meant to do with this information. He made her breakfast. It was awkward. They sent desperate cries for help to their friends. This was fast becoming something that neither of them had foreseen. With no reply, the girl tried to figure out how much of Boy's cartoons were real and how much were just in his head. The only other male she was close to was poor Lamb, and most of his life happened in his head. With no reply, Boy tried to figure out what the girl really wanted from him and what her mysterious tattoo meant. He asked. She told him. Something about Moldova and dandruff. It sounded like a best-selling story. With a morbid fear of relationships, Boy decided that a face-to-face talk was needed with the girl. He looked at eyes he dare not meet in dreams. She interrupted him before he began. She knew what he was going to say. She agreed that this had gone on far too long, and since he had made a cartoon about her without her permission, she didn't trust him. Boy was glad she didn't want to be with him, and a little sad at the same time. He agreed that this had gone on far too long, and since she was a walking contradiction, he was probably safer away from her. The girl was glad he was sad, and also sad that he was glad. She got up to leave him, forever. But she did trust him, and he felt safer with her. The girl normally snuck out of Boy's house when they were finished, but he didn't want her to anymore. She tried, and failed. It wasn't enough, though, and they had better things to be doing with their lives than spending them together. She'd also slept at his home for 7 days in a row. Enough was enough. Boy asked her to leave. He wanted to be alone in his house. She got up to leave him, forever. She tried, and failed. This is the way their world ends. Not with a bang, but that's how it started.